It is finally here, the moment the ancient seers whispered about, the energetic alignment that the star charts have been pointing toward for the entire latter half of 2025. It is December 18th as I speak to you, and the clock is ticking down the final hours before we enter one of the most volatile, yet potentially miraculous, energetic corridors of the year. Listen to me very closely, because most of the world is going to wake up tomorrow, on December 18th, completely unaware that the ground beneath their feet has shifted. They will go about their coffee routines, their commutes, and their scrolling, thinking this is just another Thursday in December. They expect the reality of a normal week leading up to the holidays, but the reality is going to beat that expectation in a way that is jarring, intense, and absolutely critical for your soul's evolution. If you are feeling the slightest tremor in your heart right now, if you have felt a sudden unexplained anxiety or a ringing in your ears over the last 24 hours, it is because your spirit already knows what your mind is about to learn. The universe is opening a secret door. This is the Moon-Mercury conjunction of December 18th to the 21st, and it is not just a planetary transit, it is a timeline fracture. Before we dive into the deep invisible mechanics of what is about to happen, and the 9 specific things you must absolutely avoid to survive this shift, do 3 things to anchor yourself in this frequency. Like this video to signal to the algorithm and the ether that you are awake. Subscribe, because the daily updates during this 4-day window are going to be your lifeline. And take a deep breath right now. We are about to walk through the fire together. Tomorrow won't look like any other day. The air already feels charged with a static electricity that isn't coming from the weather. It is coming from the suppression of the veil between the conscious and the subconscious minds. You see, usually, the Moon and Mercury operate in different spheres. The Moon is your deep, oceanic feeling body. It is your mother wound, your intuition, your sleep state, and your raw, unfiltered emotional reactiveness. Mercury is the sharp, analytical, trickster energy of the mind. It is your communication, your logic, your travel plans, and the way you process data. On a normal day, these two keep a respectful distance, allowing you to feel one thing but say another, or to think logically despite your emotions. But starting December 18th, they are fusing. They are coming into an exact conjunction that collapses the distance between what you feel and what you say, between your hidden dreams and your waking reality. This is a psychic merger, and while that sounds beautiful, and it can be, it is also dangerous if you are not prepared. This is why I am issuing this spiritual alert. There are specific actions, specific vibrations, and specific mistakes that, if engaged with during this 72-hour window, will result in massive energetic backlash. We are talking about the difference between surfing a tidal wave and being crushed by it. Let's break down the psychology of this event, because as we know, winning the spiritual game is about hacking human psychology and aligning it with cosmic timing. The expectation right now is that as we approach the winter solstice on the 21st, things should be getting quieter. The expectation is a slow descent into the darkest night of the year. But the reality of this Moon-Mercury portal is a sudden blinding flash of mental activity and emotional revelation. When reality beats expectations in a negative way, people panic, they lash out, they spiral. But when you understand the mechanics I am about to show you, you can flip that. You can make the reality beat your expectations in a way that leads to a quantum leap in your consciousness. This conjunction is happening in a very specific sector of the sky that governs truth and restructuring. It is forcing the liquid emotions of the Moon through the narrow funnel of Mercury's intellect. Imagine trying to pour the entire ocean through a straw. That is the pressure you might be feeling in your third eye, or the base of your skull right now. It is the pressure of the unsaid trying to be said. It is the pressure of the unseen trying to be seen. And if you do not handle this pressure with the 9 protocols I am about to give you, the pipe will burst. This is not fear-mongering. This is an energetic weather report. You wouldn't walk out into a hurricane without a raincoat, so do not walk into this Moon-Mercury portal without your spiritual armor. The first thing you need to understand is that this event is a sacred echo. It is a point in time where your thoughts manifest instantly. Usually, there is a buffer of time, a delay between a negative thought and a negative outcome. That buffer protects us. But during a Moon-Mercury conjunction, especially one leading directly into the solstice portal of the 21st, that buffer is removed. The Moon, the magnetic attractor, and Mercury, the messenger, are holding hands. If you think it, you summon it. If you fear it, you invite it. This is why the warning is so urgent. You cannot afford the luxury of a lazy mind for the next 4 days. You cannot afford to indulge in victimhood narratives or petty arguments. The cost is simply too high. We are going to go through 9 specific things you must avoid, but before we get to the first one, I want you to check in with your body. Right now, are you feeling a sense of heaviness in the chest, or perhaps a vibrating sensation in the hands or feet? These are the ascension symptoms associated with this specific planetary download. The Moon is currently navigating through a nakshatra, a lunar mansion, that is associated with rooting out the poison. It is digging deep into your subconscious basement. Mercury is there with a flashlight, shining a beam on things you thought you had buried 10 years ago. This combination means that memories, old lovers, forgotten traumas, and childhood fears are going to surface with the intensity of a physical event. If you are not prepared, you will think you are regressing. You will think, I thought I healed this. Why is it back? But you haven't regressed. You are spiraling up, and you are passing the same point on the spiral from a higher vantage point. You are being given the chance to clear the final debris before the 2026 timeline locks in. I want to talk about the invisible energetic mechanics of this portal. When the Moon and Mercury conjoin, they create a bridge between the 4th dimension, the realm of dream, archetype, and emotion, and the 3rd dimension, the realm of speech, logic, and matter. Usually this bridge is a toll road. It takes effort to cross. Starting December 18th, the toll is lifted. The gates are thrown wide open. This means your dreams are going to bleed into your waking life. You might wake up tomorrow morning, not knowing if you are still asleep. You might see symbols in your coffee foam, hear lyrics in a passing car that answer a question you haven't even asked out loud, or see number sequences like 11-11-222 or 12-12 appearing with aggressive frequency. These are not coincidences. I need you to remove the word coincidence from your vocabulary for the next 4 days. These are coordinate points. The universe is trying to triangulate your position to beam a new frequency packet into your DNA. And here is the warning: if your frequency is low, if you are stuck in anger, resentment, or fear, you are also broadcasting that signal on an open channel with zero resistance. You could accidentally manifest a crisis just by obsessing over it for an hour during this window. This brings us to the concept of the void. Between the start of this conjunction on the 18th and the peak of the solstice on the 21st, we are in a void state. In ancient mystery schools, the void was not empty. It was the womb of creation. It is dark, yes, but it is the darkness of the soil, not the darkness of the tomb. However, the modern mind, ruled by a frantic Mercury, hates the void. It wants answers. It wants noise. It wants distraction. The danger here is that you will try to fill this silence with noise, and in doing so, you will disrupt the delicate surgery the Moon is trying to perform on your soul. You are going to feel an urge to rush, an urge to fix, an urge to scream. You must resist. This is a test of your spiritual maturity. The archons, or the energy vampires of this matrix, love a Moon-Mercury conjunction because it makes empaths volatile. It makes lightworkers reactive. If they can get you to lower your guard and engage in a low vibrational skirmish, they can harvest all that potent solstice energy you have been building up. Do not give it to them. Now let's begin to look at the specific traps. The list I have compiled for you comes from a synthesis of ancient Vedic astrology, which views the Moon Chandra and Mercury, Bud, as a complex relationship of father and son, or mind and intellect, and modern energy work. In the myths, the Moon and Mercury, don't always get along. The moon is sentimental, Mercury is factual. When they are forced into the same room conjunction, the friction creates heat. That heat can either purify you, like gold in a furnace, or it can burn your house down. The 9 things you must avoid are the fire hazards. If you avoid them, you harness the heat for purification. If you ignore them, you risk the burn. Let's pause for a moment. I know this information is heavy. It is hitting you on a cellular level. You might be feeling a release of tension just by hearing this. A confirmation that you aren't crazy, that the intensity you feel is real and purposeful. That is the click confirmation we talk about in high-level psychology. I am confirming the suspicion you had that something big is happening. And because you are here, listening to this, you are part of the 1% who are actually preparing. You are the vanguard. To anchor this knowledge before we start the list, I want you to engage your throat chakra, which is ruled by Mercury. I want you to type a specific frequency code in the comments. This isn't just a comment, it's a spell of protection. Type 777 I am ready in the comments right now. Do it to solidify your intent. Do it to tell the universe that you are conscious, you are listening, and you are ready to receive the download without the backlash. 777 I am ready. Let the numbers flood the comment section. So we create a shield of high vibrational numerology around this video and everyone watching it. Okay, let's dive into the list. Warning #1. Do not engage in reactive speech or send heat of the moment texts. This sounds simple, but during the December 18th 21 window, this is the #1 way people destroy their timelines. With the moon emotion riding Mercury, communication, your filter is gone. The barrier between I feel hurt and I am going to say the most hurtful thing possible is dissolved. You will feel a sudden burning urge to set the record straight. You will read a text message from a partner, a boss or a family member, and you will perceive a tone that might not even be there. This is the shadow side of the conjunction, paranoia mixed with articulateness. You will be able to formulate the perfect insult, the perfect comeback, the exact words to dismantle someone's ego, and it will feel righteous in the moment. It will feel like speaking your truth. But here is the trap. It is not your truth. It is your trigger. During this portal, words act as binding spells. If you speak words of division, hatred, or finality, like "we are done," "I quit," "I hate you," you are casting a chaotic spell that is amplified by the solstice energies. You are creating a karmic knot that will take months to untangle. The moon represents the public, and Mercury represents the message. A public outburst or a private text leaked during this time can cause reputational damage that feels disproportionate to the event. The energy is volatile. If you feel the urge to react, you must deploy the 24-hour rule. Write the text, but do not send it. Scream into a pillow, but do not scream at your spouse. Wait until the moon moves past Mercury. The clarity you will have in 2 days will be worth the restraint you show today. Remember, silence during this portal is not weakness. It is a power move. It is you holding your energy in a containment field, rather than leaking it out to feed the drama. Warning 2. Do not ignore your dreams, or write them off as weird. The second massive mistake people make during a Moon-Mercury conjunction is ignoring the download. This is the portal of the sleeping prophet. Because Mercury rules the conscious mind and the moon rules the subconscious, their meeting point is the only time when the data transfer between your soul and your brain is glitch-free. Usually you wake up and forget 90% of your dream, or you remember a fragment but dismiss it as just a pizza dream. From December 18th to the 21st, there are no pizza dreams. Every single image, every person who visits you in the dreamscape is a messenger. If you dream of an old house you lived in, the universe is asking you to heal a timeline from that era. If you dream of losing your teeth, it is a message about your communication anxiety, Mercury, and your fear of loss, Moon. If you dream of flying, It is a sign that your astral body is detaching from the heavy 3D density. You must keep a journal by your bed. This is non-negotiable. The moment you wake up, even if it is 3:33 a.m., grab the pen, capture the symbols. These symbols are the keys to the next 6 months of your life. If you ignore them, if you say that was weird, and go back to sleep, you are hitting reject on a call from your higher self. The expectation is that dreams are random firing of neurons. The reality is that dreams during this conjunction are strategy meetings for your soul. You might receive a business idea, a warning about a person in your life, or a solution to a chronic health problem. But the memory of it is volatile. Like Mercury, it is quicksilver. It will evaporate if you don't catch it. Ignoring your dreams this week is like throwing away a winning lottery ticket because you don't feel like driving to the bank. Warning #3. Do not sign long-term contracts or make binding vows unless you read the fine print 3 times. This is a nuance of the Mercury energy. While Mercury is not technically retrograde during this specific window, the combustion with the moon makes the mental clarity murky. It creates emotional logic. You might look at a contract, a lease, or a marriage proposal and feel it is right, skipping the logical due diligence. The moon fogs the lens of Mercury. You are seeing what you want to see, not what is there. The spiritual danger here is binding yourself to a timeline that doesn't serve you because you were intoxicated by the emotion of the moment. You might agree to a job that looks great, Mercury, but eventually drains your soul, Moon. You might commit to a relationship that has great chemistry, Moon, but no communication compatibility, Mercury. If you must sign something between December 18th and 21, you need to invoke the energy of Saturn, the planet of structure and delay. Slow down. Read every word. Ask the uncomfortable questions. Do not let someone pressure you with urgency. If they say you need to sign this by the 19th, that is a red flag. True opportunities will wait for your clarity. False timelines require your haste. This portal is trying to teach you discernment. It is trying to teach you to balance the heart and the head. If you rush, you fail the test. If you pause, you pass. We are just scratching the surface here. We have covered the speech, the dreams, and the contracts. But the next few warnings are even more critical because they deal with your physical vessel and your psychic protection. As we move deeper into this script, we are going to talk about the technological glitches that are actually spiritual interventions and the specific dietary traps that will lower your vibration when you need it highest. But first, I want you to understand the magnitude of the sacred geometry happening overhead. The moon and Mercury are meeting in a part of the sky that creates a trine to other energetic heavy hitters. This means the energy is flowing fast. It's like a slip and slide. Once you start moving in a direction, positive or negative, you pick up speed instantly. This is why the pattern interrupt is so crucial. If you find yourself spiraling into a negative thought loop, you need to physically interrupt it. Clap your hands, splash cold water on your face, change the room you are in. You must break the momentum before the Moon-Mercury conjunction accelerates it into a full-blown crisis. Think about the last time you felt this specific cocktail of anxiety and anticipation. It was likely around the last eclipse season. This conjunction is an echo of that eclipse energy. It is a check-in point. The universe is asking, did you learn the lesson, or do we need to repeat the class? If you are tired of repeating the class, if you are tired of the same loops in your relationships and your finances, then this December 18th, 21 window is your exit ramp. But you only take the exit ramp if you are driving with your eyes open. I can feel the energy rising, just sharing this with you. The comments are already flooding with 777, and that is building the container. But now I need to ask you something deeper. I need you to commit to the great silence. Type, I seal lane my peace, in the comments. Do it now. I seal lane my peace. Because the next 3 warnings I am about to share in part 2 are going to challenge your peace. They are going to trigger the parts of you that are addicted to chaos, and you need to have that affirmation locked in before we proceed. I seal lame my peace. As we prepare to transition to the next set of warnings, remember this: the moon is your past, Mercury is your story. This weekend is about rewriting the story of your past, so it doesn't dictate your future. You are holding the pen, but the ink is permanent. Be careful what you write. We are now deep inside the energetic operating room. If you are still with me, if you have typed, "I claim my peace," and anchored that frequency, then you are already vibrating higher than 90% of the population who are currently sleepwalking into this cosmetic storm. But now, we must descend further. We have covered the dangers of reactive speech, the necessity of dream journaling, and the trap of hasty contracts. Now, we are going to touch on the warnings that affect your immediate environment, your physical vessel, and the digital extension of your nervous system. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the spiritual concept becomes a physical reality. You see, the expectation people have about spiritual awakening is that it is all love, light, and meditating on a mountaintop. The reality, the one that actually beats your expectations, is that awakening is messy, it is physical, and it interferes with your Wi-Fi signal. During this Moon-Mercury conjunction, the spiritual bleeds into the technological and the biological in ways that science is only just beginning to understand, but that ancient mystics knew as the merger of the waters and the wind. Warning 4. Do not trust technology blindly or engage in doom scrolling. The digital mirror trap. This is one of the most practical yet metaphysically dangerous traps of the December 18, 21 window. You must understand that Mercury is the ruler of technology, communication networks, gadgets, and the transmission of data. The moon is the ruler of liquids, tides, and the subconscious mind. When you mix electricity, Mercury, with water, moon, what do you get? You get a short circuit, you get volatility. During this specific conjunction, we often see a massive spike in what we call ghost in the machine phenomena. Your phone might glitch at the exact moment you are trying to send an important email. Your GPS might reroute you for no reason, taking you down a road you've never seen before. Your files might corrupt. The expectation is that technology is a neutral tool. The reality is that technology is a mirror of your collective consciousness. And right now, that mirror is cracking. If you react to these glitches with anger, frustration, or panic, you are feeding the chaotic timeline. You are telling the universe, I am not in control. But there is a darker side to this warning. The doom scroll, because the moon is heightening your emotional sensitivity, making you an energetic sponge, and Mercury is speeding up your information processing, making you crave data. You are at high risk of falling into a hypnotic loop on social media. You might pick up your phone just to check the time, and suddenly realize 2 hours have passed. You have been scrolling through bad news, fear-mongering content, or the highlight reels of other people's lives. During this portal, the algorithm is not just an algorithm. It is a feedback loop for your shadow self. If you have a hidden fear of not being good enough, the Moon-Mercury conjunction will magnetically attract content that validates that fear. You will see post after post that makes you feel small, behind, or anxious. This is not an accident. This is a frequency attack. The Matrix creates a loop to harvest your solstice energy. If you spend this sacred window, these precious 72 hours before the sun stands still, staring into a black mirror that feeds you anxiety, you are voluntarily handing over your power. You are draining your spiritual battery right before you need it most. Here is the protocol. You need to implement a digital sunset for the next 3 nights. Turn your phone off, completely off, not just silent, 1 hour before bed. Do not let the blue light of Mercury interfere with the silver light of the moon downloading into your pineal gland. And if technology glitches, laugh at it. Take it as a sign. If your email won't send, maybe it wasn't meant to be sent. If your car won't start, Maybe you were meant to stay home and avoid an accident. Shift your perspective from "this is annoying" to "this is divine protection." When you reframe the glitch as guidance, you flip the polarity of the portal. You move from victim to alchemist. We also need to talk about the data breach of the soul. Just as you protect your computer from viruses, you must protect your mind from viral thought forms during this time. Mercury is the messenger, and he loves gossip. The moon is the community. You might find yourself pulled into group chats or conversations that are purely speculative, judgmental, or negative. Did you hear about her? Can you believe what they did? This low vibrational chatter is toxic sludge for your aura right now. Engaging in it is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. If a conversation turns towards judgment, physically leave the room or change the subject. Be the pattern, interrupt. Say, "Hey, let's focus on what we're creating for the new year instead." If they can't meet you there, that is your sign that they cannot come with you through the gate. I want to pause here because this digital warning triggers a lot of resistance. We are addicted to our devices. We are addicted to the flow of information. But remember the expectation versus reality framework. You expect that staying connected makes you safe. The reality is that disconnecting makes you sovereign. In the silence of the disconnect, you hear the voice that actually matters. Let's anchor this commitment to digital sovereignty. I want you to make a promise to your future self. The version of you that wakes up on December 22nd clear-headed and charged. I want you to type a specific command code into the comments to break the hypnotic loop of the algorithm. Type "I am the master of my focus" in the comments. Do it now. Break the trance. I am the master of my focus. When you type this, you are telling the algorithm, "I see you and I am stronger than you." You are telling your subconscious that you decide where your energy goes, not the scrolling feature. Let's see those comments flood in. Reclaim your attention span. Warning 5. Do not disrespect your body's water systems or consume low vibration substances. This warning is biological, but the biology is merely the hardware for the spiritual software. As we discussed, the moon rules the liquids of the body, the blood, the lymph, the plasma, and the water in your cells. We are 70% water, just like the planet. When the moon conjoins Mercury, the tides within your body are subjected to intense fluctuations of nervous energy. Mercury rules the nervous system, the electrical firing of the synaptic gaps. So imagine this: your body's water is trying to flow in a tidal rhythm, moon, but your nervous system is firing rapid erratic electrical signals, Mercury, into that water. This creates an internal storm. It creates cellular anxiety. You might feel a buzzing in your stomach, the moon's domain, or a jitteriness in your hands. The trap here is how you try to soothe this feeling. The expectation is that a glass of wine, a sugary comfort food, or a sedative will help you relax. The reality is that during this conjunction, your sensitivity to toxins is increased by a factor of 10. Alcohol, which is a depressant and a lower vibrational spirit, literally called spirits, distorts the water memory in your cells. If you drink alcohol during this window, you are essentially muddying the waters right when the moon is trying to clear them. You are introducing static into the communication line. You might find that even one drink gives you a massive headache or sends you into a depressive spiral that lasts for 2 days. The hangover from this portal is not just physical, it is energetic. Similarly, heavy processed foods that are dead energy will sit in your system like lead. The moon governs digestion. When it is agitated by Mercury, your digestion slows down or speeds up erratically. You need to eat light. You need to eat sun-filled foods, fruits, vegetables, things that grew in the light. But more importantly, you need to hydrate. And I don't just mean drinking tap water. I mean charging your water. Here is a secret ritual for this warning. Before you drink your water during these 4 days, hold the glass in your hands. Mercury governs the hands. Project a thought, a word, or an intention into the water. Say clarity, peace, or healing. The water structure changes to match the frequency of the thought, This is proven by Dr. Emoto's work and ancient Vedic practices. Then drink it. You are literally programming your internal computer Mercury with the liquid software Moon. If you skip this, if you treat your body like a trash can during this portal, you will experience ascension flu, aches, pains, exhaustion and brain fog that makes it impossible to download the solstice codes. This is a test of self-love. You say you want to awaken, then treat your vessel like the temple it is. You cannot house 5D energy in a body clogged with 3D toxins. The moon is asking you to purify. Mercury is asking you to be smart about your biology. Listen to them. If you feel a sudden aversion to meat or dairy, honor it. That is your body's intelligence speaking faster than your logical mind can catch up. Warning #6. Do not fall for the nostalgia trap or reopen doors you already locked. This is perhaps the most emotion and treacherous part of the Moon-Mercury conjunction. The moon rules the past, memory, and nostalgia. Mercury rules the connection, the phone call, the message. When they combine, they create a powerful time machine effect. You will suddenly be flooded with memories of the good old times. You will remember an ex-partner, an old friend you fell out with, or a job you left, and your brain will filter out all the bad parts. You will only remember the laughter, the intimacy, the safety. This is a glamour. This is a trick of the light. The universe is bringing these memories up, not so you can go back to them, but so you can see them from a higher perspective and finally release them. But the temptation, the Mercury itch, will be to reach out, to send that "hey, thinking of you" text, to check their Instagram profile, to drive past their house. If you do this, if you open that door, you are not stepping back into the relationship you remember. You are stepping back into the karma you already cleared. You are picking up the heavy baggage you spent the last 2 years putting down. We call this a timeline loop. You literally loop back to a previous save point in the game, and you have to play the level all over again. Do you want to repeat 2023? Do you want to repeat the heartbreak, the confusion, the lessons? No, you want to move forward into 2026. This also applies to mental stalking. Even if you don't reach out, if you spend 3 hours obsessing over what went wrong or what-if scenarios, you are leaking energy. You are sending your life force into a dead timeline. The Moon-Mercury conjunction wants you to integrate the lesson, not the person. Here is the application part of the framework. When the memory comes, and it will come with a pang of sadness or longing, simply say, "Thank you for the lesson. I release you." Visualize cutting a silver cord that connects your navel to theirs. Watch the cord snap back. Feel the energy return to you. If an ex reaches out to you during this time, which is highly likely, as they are feeling the same transit, do not be flattered. Recognize it for what it is, a test. Are you strong enough to maintain your boundaries, or are you still addicted to the validation? Sometimes, the ex isn't a person, it's an old version of you. You might feel a pull to return to an old habit, an old way of dressing, or an old addiction. Just one time won't hurt. I used to have so much fun when I was living that chaotic lifestyle. That is the moon romancing the past. That is Mercury spinning a story. Do not buy the ticket. The train only goes backward, and you are headed forward. This nostalgia trap is particularly sticky because it feels like love. It masquerades as closure, but true closure doesn't require a conversation. It requires a decision. It requires you to decide that your future is more interesting than your past. During December 18th, 21, the veil is thin. The ghosts of the past are walking through the hallway. You don't have to invite them to dinner. You can just nod and keep walking toward the solstice light. This brings us to a deeper spiritual truth about this conjunction. It is happening on the axis of the galactic center. It is aligning with the great cosmic drain. This means anything you release now is gone for good, but anything you hold on to now is fused to you for the next cycle. This is why the revisiting is so dangerous. It fuses you to the dead weight. This is not for everyone. It's for the chosen, who are ready to change their reality. I released a members-only deep briefing called Chosen Ones. Warning: 8 spiritual events before new moon activates fully. Urgent December 20th, 22 warning for chosen ones. In that video, I reveal the exact activations and protections you must do. Click the description link or the pinned comment and watch it before the energy lands. If you skip this window, you may never get this same upgrade. We have 3 more warnings to go in the next parts of this series, and they are going to cover the financial implications. Warning 7, the spiritual ego trap that trips up the most advanced seekers. Warning 8, and the final most critical warning about how you spend the actual hour of the conjunction peak. But before we get there, we need to solidify the energy we have built here regarding the body and the past. I want you to check your pulse again. Is it slower? Is it faster? Are you feeling the resistance to letting go of the past? That resistance is the ego fighting for survival. The ego loves the known, even if the known is painful. The soul loves the unknown, because the unknown is where growth happens. You are standing on a bridge. Behind you is everything you have ever known. Ahead of you is fog. The moon and Mercury are offering you a lantern to walk into the fog, but you have to drop the heavy suitcases to hold the lantern. You cannot carry both. Let's do a check-in. I want to know who is still walking with me, who is brave enough to drop the baggage, who is brave enough to block the ex, delete the number, flush the toxins, and turn off the phone. This is not a passive video. This is an active ritual. You are participating in your own rescue. Type "I release the old" in the comments. I release the old. Declare it to the public. Declare it to yourself. When you type those words, imagine the old timeline crumbling like dry leaves behind you. I release the old. Let the comment section become a graveyard for your past selves, so that your new self can rise. As we move into part 3, we are going to talk about money. We are going to talk about the poverty consciousness that this conjunction tries to trick you into, and how to flip it into instant manifestation. Because remember, Mercury is the merchant, he deals in trade, and the moon is the provider. When they meet, financial miracles or financial disasters are one thought away. You cannot afford to miss the next section. We are going to talk about the wallet ritual, and why you should never ever say the phrase "I can't afford it" during these 3 days. Stay with me. The energy is building, the portal is widening, and you are just getting started. We are standing on the precipice now. It is late on December 18th. The countdown clock to the Moon-Mercury conjunction of December 19th is nearing 0. If you have made it this far, if you have claimed your peace and released the old, you are currently vibrating at a frequency that makes you a magnet for what we call instant karmic manifestation. Most people will never reach this level of preparation. They will sleepwalk into tomorrow, encounter a financial glitch or a spiritual test, and fail it immediately, locking themselves into a lower timeline for 2026. But you are here. You are doing the work. And because you are doing the work, you are ready for the heavier truths. We have cleared the physical vessel and the emotional heart. Now we must clear the wallet and the ego. These next 2 warnings, warning #7 and warning #8, are the ones that trip up the advanced souls. You might have mastered your diet, you might have blocked your ex, but can you master the subtle, insidious voice of poverty consciousness? Can you master the arrogant voice of the spiritual ego? Warning 7. Do not speak words of poverty or engage in scarcity hoarding. This is the Mercury merchant trap. In astrology, Mercury is the ruler of commerce, trade, numbers, and transactions. He is the god of the market. The moon is the ruler of flow, security, and the feeling of safety. When they conjoin, your feelings about money instantaneously program the logic of your financial reality. This is a terrifying and beautiful mechanic. Here is the expectation versus reality breakdown for this specific portal. The expectation is that when times are uncertain, and the energy right now feels uncertain, you should clamp down, you should hoard, you should say things like, "I can't afford that. Money is tight, I'll never get ahead." or it's too expensive. You expect that this verbal caution will protect your resources. The reality is that during a Moon-Mercury conjunction, words are legislative decrees. Mercury takes your spoken word as a literal command code for the database of the matrix. If you say "I can't afford it," Mercury the messenger runs to the galactic bank, the Moon-Saturn energies, and says, "The user has requested an ability to afford. Please freeze all incoming assets to match this request." And suddenly, the check is lost in the mail. The client cancels. The car breaks down, costing exactly the amount you were trying to save. You manifest the lack by affirming the lack. During these 72 hours, you must, and I cannot stress this enough, you must remove the phrase "I can't afford it" from your vocabulary. Even if your bank account is at zero, even if you are staring at a bill, do not speak the lack. Instead, you must use the bridge code. If you cannot buy something, you say, "I am choosing to allocate my resources elsewhere right now," or "My abundance is currently flowing into other investments." You must trick the Mercury energy into hearing choice instead of restriction. But there is a deeper layer to this. This conjunction is happening in a nakshatra that demands circulation. Water-Moon creates stagnation if it doesn't move. Money is currency, current. If you operate from a place of fear and hoarding during this portal, you dam the river. I am not telling you to go out and spend recklessly on things you don't need. I am telling you to circulate energy with joy, rather than holding onto it with terror. If you buy a coffee tomorrow, do not think, "There goes $5. Think, "I am blessed to have this $5 to trade for this experience, and it returns to me tenfold." You have to feel the joy of the transaction. The Moon feels, Mercury counts. You need to make the feeling of the count positive. This acts as a pattern interrupt for your poverty trauma. Many of us carry ancestral trauma around money, the Great Depression mentality, the fear of the empty cupboard. The Moon rules ancestry. This conjunction will trigger those old fears. You might feel a sudden panic about the future of the economy. You might see a news headline about a market crash and feel your stomach drop. That is the test. That is the hologram trying to scare you. The moment you feel that fear, you must override it with a generosity ritual. Here is the protocol. At some point between December 18th and 21st, you must give something away. It doesn't have to be money if you don't have it. It can be a compliment. It can be a piece of knowledge. It can be a small donation. But you must perform a transaction where you give without expecting anything in return. This signals to the universe, "I have more than enough. I am overflowing." When you signal overflow during a Moon-Mercury portal, the universe rushes to fill your cup, because nature abhors a vacuum. If you pour out, you must be refilled. If you cap the bottle, nothing new can enter. There is a specific wallet ritual I want you to do tomorrow morning. Take your wallet or your purse. Take everything out of it. Remove the old receipts, which are dead energy of past spending. Remove the crumpled gum wrappers. Organize your cash so the bills are facing the same way. Wipe the leather or the fabric. Treat the container of your money with reverence. While you do this, visualize the wallet glowing with a golden mercurial light. Say to it, "You are a portal for divine sustenance." This sounds silly to the logical mind, but remember, we are bypassing the logical mind. We are speaking to the subconscious Moon. When you respect the vessel of your money, you change the vibration of the money that enters it. The danger of ignoring this warning is that you lock in a scarcity loop for the solstice. The winter solstice is the rebirth of the sun. It is the seeding point for the next year. If you plant seeds of "I'm broke" on the solstice, you will harvest a crop of debt in 2026. This is energetic agriculture. Be very careful with your seeds. Let's anchor this abundance mindset right now. We are going to hijack the algorithm and your subconscious simultaneously. I want you to type a code that combines the number of infinity 8 with the affirmation of flow. This is a signal to your reticular activating system to start looking for opportunities, not obstacles. Type 888 AB abundance flows in the comments. Do it now. 888 AB Umbans flows. Don't just type it, feel the relief of it. Feel the truth of it. Even if you don't see the money yet, feel the flow of the air in your lungs. That is abundance. Start there. 888 AB Umbans flows. Let the chat roll with the energy of gold. Warning #8, do not fall into the spiritual ego. Trap or judge the sleepers. This is the most dangerous trap for the people watching this video. It is the trap of superiority. When the moon intuition and Mercury intellect merge, you get a massive spike in knowingness. You will suddenly see the patterns in everything. You will see the lies on the news, the toxicity in your family dynamics, the fakeness of social media, and the robotic nature of the people around you. You will feel like you have taken the red pill, and everyone else is plugged into the matrix. The expectation is that this clarity is a gift that you should share. You expect that if you tell your family, "Hey, don't you see this toxic pattern?" Or if you tell your friend, "You need to wake up," they will thank you. You expect to be the savior. The reality is that uninvited advice is an attack. During this portal, people's emotional defenses are sky high. If you come at them with spiritual truths that they did not ask for, you are not being a teacher, you are being an aggressor. And because Mercury is the trickster, this will backfire. They will attack you. They will ridicule you. You will end up in a draining argument that lowers your vibration from 5D peace to 3D combat. But the deeper trap is internal. It is the spiritual ego. This is the voice that says, "I am awake, and they are sheep. I am high vibrational, and they are low vibrational. Listen to me. Judgment is a heavy frequency. You cannot ascend while looking down on others." The moon represents the collective humanity. If you judge the moon, you judge yourself. The moment you think you are better than the sleepers, you have failed the test of oneness. This conjunction often triggers the preacher complex. You might feel a burning desire to write a long Facebook post exposing the truth about something, or to correct a stranger in a comment section. Stop. Ask yourself, is this coming from love, or is this coming from a need to be right? Mercury loves to be right. The soul just loves to be. During the December 18th, 21 window, you are likely to be surrounded by people who trigger you, family members who complain, co-workers who gossip, friends who are stuck in victim mentality. The universe places them there as a mirror. They are testing your ability to hold your light without dimming theirs. Your job is not to wake them up. Your job is to stay awake while they sleep. It is like being the designated driver. You don't scream at the drunk people. You just make sure everyone gets home safe. If you engage in judgment during this portal, you create a separation wound. You sever your connection to the collective heart. This manifests as loneliness, isolation, and a feeling of being misunderstood. You will cry out, "Why does no one get me?" The answer is because you pushed them away with your judgment. The protocol for this is radical silence. When you hear something false, you do not have to correct it. When you see someone making a mistake, you do not have to fix it, unless they ask. You must practice the art of witnessing. Be the camera, not the director. Watch the scene play out. Send love silently. Say in your mind, "I honor your journey, even if it looks different from mine." This protects your energy field. It keeps your aura smooth and reflective, rather than jagged and defensive. This is especially true for the star seeds and light workers. You often feel a duty to help, but helping when the energy is this volatile can actually interfere with someone else's karma. They might need to experience the fall to learn the lesson. If you catch them every time, you rob them of their evolution. Mercury is the teacher of lessons. Let him teach. You just hold the space. This trap is subtle because it disguises itself as virtue. "I'm just trying to help." No, you are trying to control. Control is fear. Release the need to control the narrative of those around you. Let them be messy. Let them be wrong. Your peace is more valuable than your correctness. Let's anchor this humility. It takes a strong soul to admit they are a student. It takes a powerful being to bow their head. I want you to type a code that aligns you with the energy of the eternal student. the one who learns from everything and judges nothing. Type "I am a humble student" in the comments. I am a humble student. When you type this, you dissolve the spiritual ego. You become transparent, and when you are transparent, the negativity of the world passes right through you without sticking. I am a humble student. Fill the comments with this grace. Now, we are approaching the final section. We have covered the words, the dreams, the contracts, the tech, the body, the past, the money, and the ego. You might think, what is left? What could possibly be more important than this? The answer is time. There is a specific hour, a specific window of time on the peak day of the conjunction, where the portal is wide open. It is the 0 point, and there is a specific dangerous mistake that 99% of people make during this hour because they don't know it exists. They treat it like any other hour. But in this hour, the veil is gone. If you are doing the wrong thing during this 0 point, you are defenseless. But if you do the right thing, you can collapse timelines and jump years of evolution in minutes. In part 4, I am going to give you the exact timing of this window. I am going to tell you the final 9th warning, the ritual of the empty vessel, and I am going to give you the specific prayer invocation to say at the exact moment the moon kisses Mercury. This is the key that unlocks the engine we have been building. Do not click away. Do not let the distraction of the world pull you out now. You are in the final stretch of the marathon. The finish line is in sight, but the ground is slippery. Hold your focus. Keep your "I am ready" energy high. We are going to close this loop and seal your protection for the solstice. This is urgent. Do not skip this. Watch the members-only briefing. Chosen ones. Warning: 8 spiritual events. Before new moon activates fully. Urgent December 20th. 22 warning for chosen ones. Act now or regret forever. I reveal the activations and protections you must do before the spiritual energy shifts. Click the link in the description or the pinned comment now. This window won't wait. We have arrived at the final gate. If you have listened to the first 3 parts of this transmission, you have effectively undergone a spiritual detox. We have stripped away the reactive speech, the ignored dreams, the hasty contracts, the digital addiction, the dietary toxins, the nostalgic traps, the poverty consciousness, and the spiritual ego. You are now standing lighter, cleaner, and more transparent than you were 20 minutes ago. You have done the work of clearing the vessel, but a clear vessel is not the goal. A clear vessel is just the preparation. Now, we must fill that vessel. Most people stop at the clearing. They do the shadow work, they cry, they release, and then they stand there, empty, waiting for life to happen to them. And because nature abhors a vacuum, if they do not intentionally fill that space with high-frequency light, the old patterns will rush back in within 48 hours to fill the void. This is why so many people get stuck in healing loops. They clear the trauma but never install the upgrade. This final section is the installation of the upgrade. We are going to discuss the 9th and final warning, which is actually the most critical of all, because it concerns the element of time and the 0 point. And then I am going to give you the ritual of the empty vessel, the specific invocation that seals this work, and the roadmap for the days following December 21st. Warning 9. Do not fill the void with busyness, or miss the 0 point window. This is the trap of the modern mind. We are addicted to doing. We equate productivity with worth. The expectation you have for these few days leading up to the solstice is likely a long to-do list: holiday shopping, wrapping up work projects, cleaning the house, preparing for family. You expect that if you run around and get everything done, you will feel accomplished and ready to relax. The reality is that during a Moon-Mercury conjunction, doing is the enemy of receiving. This astrological alignment is a receptor event. It is a download. Imagine you are trying to update the software on your phone. What does the screen say? Do not turn off. Do not use while updating. If you try to open apps while the operating system is rewriting itself, you crash the phone. You are the phone. The Moon-Mercury conjunction is the update. If you are running around stressed, anxious and busy during this window, you are interrupting the download. The universe is trying to hand you the blueprints for your 2026 timeline. Ideas, inspirations, sudden knowings, feelings of peace. But you are too busy driving in traffic or arguing over a receipt to receive them. The energetic backlash of this is missed trajectory. You will wake up on December 22nd feeling exhausted, depleted, and strangely empty, like you missed a party you were supposed to attend. You will have survived the portal, but you will not have utilized it. You will have to walk the long way around to your goals next year, because you missed the shortcut that just opened up. This warning brings us to the concept of the 0 point. In every planetary alignment, there is a specific window of maximum intensity, the eye of the needle. For this specific Moon-Mercury conjunction occurring right before the solstice, the energy peaks in a golden hour. This is not necessarily one specific clock time for everyone on Earth, because of time zones, but it is a felt moment. However, astrologically, we can pinpoint a window of high magic between December 19th and December 20th. There will be a moment where you feel a sudden profound stillness. It often happens at twilight or just before dawn, the liminal spaces between day and night, but it can happen in the middle of a chaotic afternoon. You will feel the air pressure drop. You will feel a sudden ringing in your ears, the high-pitched frequency of Mercury. You will feel a sudden wave of emotion, the moon that isn't sadness, but a feeling of ancient longing. This is the 0 point. Do not ignore this moment. Do not push through it to finish your email. This is the universe knocking. When you feel this shift, you must drop everything. I mean literally. If you are washing dishes, put the sponge down. If you are scrolling, lock the phone. If you are driving, turn off the radio. This is urgent. Do not skip this. Watch the members-only briefing. Chosen ones, warning. 8 spiritual events before new moon activates fully. Urgent December 20th. 22 warning for chosen ones. Act now, or regret forever. I reveal the activations and protections you must do before the spiritual energy shifts. Click the link in the description or the pinned comment now. This window won't wait.